Yeah, welcome back, y'all, to another video. It's the one and only Dad Poppy, aka Los Courtside, back at you again with another video. Today, we're going to go against the illustrious, the infamous Fresh and Fit podcast. Now, for any of you that don't exactly know who Fresh and Fit are, they're basically a red pill podcast, dating coaches that have been pretty much going viral over the last year and a half off of their, some would say, toxic takes. And they're mostly they got big off of kicking girls off the show on some real Jerry Springer type beat, and which is cool, you know. I can't knock their hustle, but I got to get some of that sweet fresh and fit clout. Because right now it's like anytime these guys say something that pisses off the masses, everybody goes and it's like manna coming down from heaven, and everyone says reaction video, reaction video, reaction video, reaction video, and they all give views from either the haters or the supporters, and it's free clout right there. And I would be stupid if I were to miss out on this opportunity for some of that free clout. I don't got no subscribers. I can't talk. I got no subscribers. I got no clout. I'm trying to get my clout up. So fresh and fit, we reacting to your video today. Fuck it, I don't care what nobody else got to say about this. Hopefully, I can give some good perspective on what's being talked about in the conversation, and we can have an open dialogue. I'm hoping that there's some things that I can say that makes the video entertaining or informative or gives you a different perspective or anything like that. So without further ado, let's get into the video.
Women who are in a relationship and are posing in their bikinis or doing any kind of sultry sort of stuff, they're the ones that shouldn't have Instagram.
Well, if you're in a serious committed relationship with a guy and you have, sexy photos of yourself on the internet, Instagram is just one medium that you can do it. Yeah, it is cheating.
Cheating, like, what about the guy? Is he, if he's in a relationship, is he allowed to have Instagram?
Well, we're different. We're not in our undies
Sorry, Carl. I
gyrating
don't
up
think I
and
was
down.
asking you. I was asking these
well,
guys.
let's see how it is over
let me
here.
ask you a question. Are men and women equal?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
No, we're not at all. We're not.
Okay.
Men and women are different.
So this is like one of the big talking points that he always likes to, Myron likes to iterate on, that men and women are not equal, which is 100% right. We're not equal. We're two completely separate beings. Yes, we're human, but we're not equal in the sense of our societal roles, our biochemistry, our like the ways that we can conduct ourselves, the way the society has kind of made things. Women have certain aspects that is more advantageous to them. Men have certain aspects that's more advantageous to them. For instance, girls can get into the club for free. Girls get invited to a lot of opportunities that men don't necessarily get to see. I live out in LA, and let me tell you guys, I'm pretty sure a majority of women out in this city have been invited onto a yacht, to a boat. I'm sure they've been invited out to a mansion party before. I'm sure they've been invited out to go to a very nice, expensive restaurant. There's a lot of opportunities that's presented to women off of the rip of the fact that they're women, and that men want them in their area, they want them around, and so they'll just invite them off of the strength that they're women. Women get invited to guys' sections all the time. They don't necessarily, and I'm not talking about these are all models, guys. I'm not talking about these are the just drop dead tens. I'm talking about regular women. Regular women, you will see regular women out in LA with stars in the roof. So because there's some dude that makes a bunch of money and he's just trying to impress her. He tells her to come through. We fuck the same women. Like me and the millionaires in this city, we fuck the same women. It's not even close. And so for men, there's opportunities that's given to us as well, in which okay, I'm trying to think of a good alternative to the girls getting into the club for free, which is really, I don't think there's an equivalent to that for men, but we have other opportunities as well. But it's more so opportunities that we kind of have to make for ourselves if we're the ones buying the sections or having the houses or the cars and all that stuff like that. Then that kind of affords us the ability to maybe have access to these women that want to be in these nice places, be in these nice cars, be in these mansion parties, be in these sections, and so it's kind of a one hand washes the other. But to say that we're equal is just not well informed. It's not. It's disingenuous because we're not. What he's talking about right now is Instagram and girls posting on their Instagram, posting sexy pictures, posting thirst traps, and that being cheating. Now, my opinion on it, my thoughts on it is that I don't necessarily care if my girl were to post thirst traps on the internet. However, with that being said, a little caveat to that, that is something that I kind of take into perspective when I'm dating a girl. What type of pictures is she posting now? If she's posting booty pics before we get together, it doesn't really make much sense for me to then, once we're now together, me telling her you can't post booty pics no more, because that's what she was doing before we was even together. And I understand that in relationships certain dynamics change, but you have to understand the person that you get into a relationship with. And a lot of the times, if you're not comfortable or you would not want your girlfriend to be taking these type of pictures, then I think that that's more so the case of maybe you should not have this girl be your girlfriend instead of trying to make a hoe into a housewife, so to speak. Not to say that that girl's a hoe because she takes thirst traps, but I'm just taking the sentiment of taking somebody's nature that they already have before you and their behavior and then trying to conform it to for your own benefit. That doesn't really make much sense. If a girl's taking a bunch of bikini pictures, ass pictures, gym pictures, all this shit like that, and on her social media, and she's very social media driven, it doesn't really make sense for you to even go after a girl like that. At least seriously, you can date them, you know what I'm saying? Like, you can smash for sure, take them out for dinner, go out for drinks, the whole 9 yards. But you have to really ask yourself, why would you even want to entertain a girl that is showing these type of pictures and you're not comfortable with that? Like, why would you try to change that? Why would you try to pursue that? That's the same thing for if a girl wants a guy that is, is faithful and stays in, and he likes to read books and he doesn't really like to drink. What sense would it make for her to then go after a guy that's a club promoter and he's going to be out 3 to 4 nights a week and he's going to be drinking, he's going to be partying, he's going to be around a bunch of different women in a bunch of different locations? It doesn't really make much sense. Now she's trying to get him to stop being a club promoter, but that's his livelihood, that's something that he likes to do, that's his job, and she's now trying to transition him into basically being a house cat and staying with her and reading and not drinking, when they're just not compatible people. Sometimes you're not compatible. You could be attracted to somebody, they could be attracted to you, but you guys necessarily might not be compatible for a long-term relationship where you guys are taking each other seriously and are committed to each other just because you're both attracted to each other and you get along. You have to think about principles, you have to think about your morals, your values, you have to think about the way that you want to be represented. And I think that's something that a lot of men in general don't really take into consideration, is how is my girl going to represent me? Because I'm telling you right now, women, 100%, that's one of their things in general. How is my man going to represent me? If they got a man and they think it's going to be a good look to have you as a boyfriend, let me tell you, they're going to ride for you. Like, if you a good look by her, if you a good look representing her, which is why, women like men that get pursued by other women, because that says a lot about the man in general, whether it's he has good social skills, he has status, he has money, he dresses nice, he has style, he has a charisma about him. That's something in which they're like, okay, this is a wanted man, this is a valued man, and that's a good look for me to have, because if he's valued and I have him, what does that say about me? That means I'm also valued because I have a valuable man that other women want, which is why that's such a big thing. And the men, a lot of the time, we don't really care as long as you look good, as long as you look nice, and if we want to hit. We don't necessarily give 2 F's on how you're going to be representing us until you get the bag, because from men, we're coming from a position of we're trying to win you over, we're trying to secure you, we're trying to get you to fall in love with us. So once we feel like we have you under are uh, like under our spell, or once we think that we played enough and we spent enough game to you, now it's like, okay, I did what I needed to do to win you over, but this is not necessarily how I want my girl representing me, so I want to change you now. And that's something that needs to be changed, in my opinion. I feel like you, as a man, should have enough wherewithal, have enough discipline to know yourself, to know that, hey, this girl that I'm dating right now, we don't necessarily like agree on certain vital things when it comes to either social media, how we represent each other, how we go about things, and we might not be a good couple. Like, we could be really good friends, or we could have a nice dating relationship for a few months. But for long term, for something in which we're introducing each other to each other's families and whatnot, et cetera, that's not really what you want to do. That's not something that you should even really consider, because of the fact that fundamentally you're seeing these discrepancies from the rip. That is like, hey, this is not going to work. So many times guys are just trying to like, oh, she's so bad, override it, I don't care, like, I'm gonna make it work, and then you don't make it work. And now you got guys like Myron over here talking about, yeah, my girl can't have an Instagram, or she can't post pictures once we're together. And that, want to know why he's saying that? Is because he likes the Instagram models. He likes the OnlyFans girls. He likes the girls that's on these seeking arrangement sites that's showing the ass, showing titties, twerking in the club and the sections all the time like that. That's what he's attracted to. But at the same time, because he's attracted to that, he knows that they're not very well at representing him. And he's obviously a more traditional, conservative type of dude. They are not the ideal woman to have and to claim for you to say, oh yeah, that's my girl. Especially if you got pictures of her on OnlyFans and she's showing her ass, she's shaking her ass and all that stuff like that. So that's his issue, because he could just go for the women that don't do that naturally, and he doesn't even have that issue of posting pictures on Instagram, or you telling your girl that she can't have an Instagram, or she can't post certain pictures on Instagram, because he's not dealing with the type of woman that would even necessarily do that. I had a girl before that I was talking to for a little bit, and she was like that, She liked taking ass pictures on Snapchat when she's in the bathroom. Oh my gosh. Sorry, my mic went out for a second. What the heck? Et cetera, the whole 9 yards. She likes doing that. Long story short, it's really just off of the strength that I knew we were not going to be good together for the long haul. I can have my fun. We can have fun together. We can have our dynamic going back and forth. But I knew for the long term that this wasn't somebody that I wanted to seriously consider in a relationship. And I kind of fell back because of the way that she kind of carried herself and conducted herself. She's a great girl. Let me tell you, like, bro, fire, fat ass, great body, pretty, all that. But it was just the way that she conducted herself and the things that she did. I knew in my heart and in my mind, I'm like, this is not a good woman to try to get into a relationship with. And it's funny because it be those type of girls, they be the most starved to be in a relationship because of the fact that so many dudes don't take them seriously. And the fact that dudes don't take them seriously because they be taking ass pictures and, you know what I'm saying, stripping and being star tenders and whatnot. Which it is, it is what it is. Hey, don't shoot the messenger. But then they get into a condition of they keep on attracting individuals like Myron, who then either he's trying to turn a hoe into a housewife, so to speak, which once again, I'm not trying to say that these girls are all hoes. What I'm saying is that their inherent nature that they were already exhibiting when you first met them, now you're trying to switch it up. They're not going to necessarily depart from that if they're not ready. Someone's not going to change for you if they're not ready to change. So you should not be trying to change somebody. You should not be trying to alter their behavior. You should not be trying to control them and what they do and how they express themselves. You should just try to find the people that line up the most with your morals and values. But, these fresh and fit guys, I can tell that they're definitely led by the flesh. As a lot of men are. I'm somewhat led by the flesh. I try to control it. But, hey, if I see a bitch with some, with the yams, if I see it with the yiddies out, man, I do my best to fight temptation. Let me just say that. That's not something that's just, oh yeah, if I see it, I'ma go for it and I'm done for it. That's not the case. I do have control of myself, but I do still feel the temptation sometimes, and I do be fighting it. So I know what they're feeling, but at the same time, they have to have better self-control over the type of women that they're going after. And yeah, just because now that they got clout and now that they're in the sections and now that they got money, they can get the OnlyFans girls and they can get the big booty models and Instagram models and all that. But it's necessarily probably not what they really want. It's not going to lead them with the happiness and the fulfillment that they might be looking for. But I've been talking for a long time. I know for these videos, you can really only react to like 5 minutes or so before they start getting into like copyright infringement and all that. So I'm trying to really take as much as I can from the short time that I can kind of go over the video and go into as much depth as possible. But I can't talk. Go into as much depth as possible so that, you know, I can kind of flesh out the ideas that's coming into my mind that I'm thinking about as I'm watching it. But let's get back into this video real quick.
So yes, we're different. Of course we're different, but you know, were you talking about pay parity? What are you talking about when it comes to being different?
Well, the definition of equality is being the same in quantity, size, degree, or value, and nothing between us is equal. We're very different. What I mean by
You
that,
don't think we are of equal value?
well, here's the thing. From a human's rights perspective and, you know, the value of your life, yes, we're equal. No one is better than anyone in that regard. But when it comes to biology and intersexual dynamics, we're 100% different. And the reason why
that is true. Scientifically, he's correct. We are different, right?
But what I don't understand is how does that apply to the
applies
question that I
fine.
asked when I said
let me
to you
get
guys?
to it.
Okay.
So the reason why is because we have differing sexual strategies. Men want quantity, women want quality. So our sexual strategies are literally opposing each other. So men want to be able to get with as many girls as possible, right? Unlimited sexuality. Shout out to our guy Rollo Tomas. We talk about this in detail. Versus women, I say women want typically unlimited security from the best man that they can get, versus men want to get the most women they can get. So it's been that way since the beginning of time. Powerful and strong men have had hordes of women, and then women align themselves with the strongest men. So we don't play by the same set of rules, and our sexual strategies influences how we view the world, how we view the opposite gender, how we try to procreate with each other. We're very different. So what men can do, women can't necessarily do sometimes. So we're not the same.
So,
And it's just unfortunately a double standard that does not benefit women for once.
sorry. So just going back to that question that I asked, can a man be on Instagram
Yes.
in a relationship,
Yes.
but not a
It's not the same.
woman?
It's not the same.
Why?
Well, does it depend on the content that
Well,
they're putting
definitely,
out? Like,
it would
if
have
I'm
to.
shirtless on Instagram, like showing me big fat man boobs and gyrating around, it's
I think what also we got to preface Myron's takes and his perspectives. Y'all gotta understand he's Muslim, so his perspective on a lot of things is going to be very, very traditional, very, very male oriented, because that's kind of how the Muslim culture is, where, you know, obviously the men are the head, the men kind of control things that are shakers and movers. It's kind of like that in Christian households too, where they look at men as the head of the table. With more modernized Christian values, though, women are definitely seen as more on level playing field, as opposed to before, where it was obviously the man. I think there's a quote in the Bible where it's like women are not supposed to talk while a man is teaching and whatnot. That's from the background. Now we have female preachers all over the place. I don't exactly know how it works for who leads worship in Muslim settings, whether or not they're, you know, there's female Muslim mosque leaders, because they don't go to church, but it's definitely, his background is very, very privy to being more so male dominated, male centric, for, you know, the values and the benefits of that. But going forward into to what he said about the values that men and women have, and that men want to date a lot and women want the highest quality, I'd have to say that that's true to a certain extent. I feel like there's a lot of men out there that don't necessarily want a gaggle of women, especially once you realize all of the time and the energy and the attention that they all require, and the doing on your part to try to keep them at bay, to try to keep them happy, to try to keep them in a uh, engaged state, to the point where, okay, yeah, you rocking with me, I can come and I can see you when I want to see you, but necessarily you're not gonna be chopping my head off. You're not gonna be complaining. You're not gonna be whining about why you can't spend more time with me. You're not gonna be nagging me. You're not gonna be, doing the most, trying to show up at my apartment when you're not supposed to be showing up at my apartment, trying to clock me, the whole 9 yards. That happens a lot of the time when you're dealing with multiple women and they're trying to clock you and they're trying to dominate more of your time, and they're trying to somewhat subtly compete with each other by the dynamic that he's talking about. Yes, women do go for who they think is the best offer. We've seen this time and time and time again, and which is why, especially like I said, I live out in LA. These NBA players, man, these football players, these rappers, they got probably like half the town, half the city in they DMs, and they DMing them. Like, let me make that very clear. These basketball players, football players, rappers, they're DMing your girl right now. Like, if there's a girl that you seen at the bar, you thought she was cute, she's probably got a blue check in her DMs, trying to get her to come out, trying to get her to slide through and whatnot. A lot of women, if they're, what's the word I'm looking for, excited by celebrity, excited by status, then yeah, they're all going to vie for that one man. Chris Brown probably got 10 hoes on his dick right now, and if he could call up probably 50 girls. No, matter of fact, he could call up 100 girls right now. I'm talking about, he could call 50 girls that he's probably already smashed and had in his number before. He could also call up another 50, just sliding in they DMs on Instagram or on Twitter or some other type of way of communication. He can tell them all, hey, come through, or hey, I'm at the club, come through to my section, and they gonna come through. And he tell them to come back to the crib, they come back to the crib. And if they come back to the crib, you already know what's about to happen. And so you can't really say that for a lot of men. Only the dudes that are celebrity status, uber rich. Like, if you're just a guy and you got a good personality, or you're slightly good looking and whatnot, you're gonna have some hoes for sure. But you're not gonna have them like Chris Brown. You're not gonna have them like Drake. You're not gonna have them like LeBron James or Tom Brady, where they have 50 of the baddest Johns on call at all times, and they already like, girls are gonna look at you. They gonna say, "Hey man, you not that dude to be cheating on me. You not that dude to have multiple girls and be messing with me. Like, I deserve a man that's gonna give me his all." But when they dealing with dudes like LeBron James and Chris Brown and Drake, who's got the money, who's got the status, who's got the fame, yeah, they all gonna be there. Eventually, some of them are going to get tired of that rat race, and they're not going to be as appeased by the fame, the status, and the money, and they probably want to move on to something a little bit more quaint. We remember Cassie, when she was with Diddy, they had their little time in the sun, and she was with him for like 10 years or whatever. They had their little fling, and then Cassie was like, hey, it was cool dealing with this uber rich dude, and I had my fun, but I'm ready to settle down. I'm ready to transition to another point in my life in which there's somebody who's just gonna be for me and is gonna focus on me, and I can kind of build a life with and a family with. And so she just dipped out. She said, all right, I'm over this. I'm going on to other things. Which is also what happens with a lot of girls. They get burnt out by dealing with the rappers, burnt out dealing with the ball players, and then they decide, okay, I think I'd rather just have a dude that I think is kind of cute and he's got his head on his shoulders and he can provide for me, than to try to go after these celebrities that's going to kind of hit them and quit, or keep them in their rotation for as long as they can. And then, once they're done with them, they're done with them. It's not really beneficial to them. But a lot of them do entertain that for at least a period of time. Can't do this.
sexy dance, that would be cheap. What if I was just on there talking about, fitness apps and stuff? That's a whole different vibe. So it's content related, right?
Yeah, but the thing is that I don't think people understand this, that a man even a man that's extremely good looking is not going to get nearly the amount of options that a woman that's mediocre. And
Are
we-
you
that is
kidding?
true.
No,
That is true.
that is
Yes.
so not true.
But then
Do you
we'll think
know
of it.
how many hot guys get DM'd on Instagram?
Oh, we're not talking
with
about
women?
DMs. We're talking about real life
No, it's-
benefits,
no,
like
no, you're
being
not. You're
served
talking about-
first at the shop and stuff
No,
like that.
I'm talking about Instagram. You're saying a man can go on Instagram in a relationship and it not be
pull up that
considered
chart from
cheating.
our chat. So, okay, I'm going to get one of my guys to show you guys something. But yes, a lot of women are unaware of this. But men, unless they're in the top 2% of looks and aesthetics and everything else like that, they get virtually no play in online dating sites, Instagram. Men don't get as much sexual attention as women think. The issue is that women see the world through their view. They think, I get a lot of attention, so attractive guys must be getting a lot of attention too. And that couldn't be further from the truth.
They
Men,
are
don't get
though,
men do not get nearly the same amount of sexual
but
attention
they
as women
still
do.
get.
It's very true. I'm gonna say this right now. Oh my gosh. This guy's not lying. Guys, let me tell you. If you've ever seen a girl's DMs, if you've ever seen a girl's dating apps, you already understand what he's saying right now. And that's kind of what I was going on before, where being out in LA, a lot of women, I'm telling you, every girl that you know, like if she halfway decent, if she's somewhat cute, if she in your town, if you in a major city and that city has a sports team, I'm telling you right now, that girl has probably been DM. She got a couple blue checks in them DMs. She got a couple. If you a good looking dude, Rihanna not hitting you up. If you a good looking dude, Nicki Minaj not hitting you up. Doja Cat's not hitting you up. SZA's not hitting you up. You have to be like either already clicked in, or like he said, top 2% good looking dudes. Which at that point, if you're that good looking, you're probably already a model anyway, and then you're somewhat clicked into the industry. So you're still most likely going to be in those rooms anyway. But I'm just talking about if you're just a random, decent looking dude, you work out, you're in decent shape, your teeth is cool, whatever, you take care of your skin, your finances in order, you're not getting DM'd by no blue check women. Usually. There's obvious outliers. But on a grand scale, that's not happening. You're also not getting DM'd by most women. Most women, the dating dynamic has always been the man approach, the woman receive. And so a lot of the times they're not gonna slide into your DM because of the fact that that's their nature. Their nature is, I'm gonna wait for a dude to come up to me and be interested in me. I'm not gonna just go and shoot my shot. Girls are very, very scary when it comes to shooting their shot. Girls are terrified to shoot their shot, which is crazy because of the fact that most girls, when they shoot their shot, they get it majority of the time, unless the dude is in a relationship and he's upholding that, or you're ugly. Yep, that's the case. Either he's in a relationship or you're ugly. If you're even decent looking, most guys are gonna at least entertain it. Most guys are gonna at least take the number down, take the social media down or whatever, because of the fact that, hey, this doesn't happen every day. You throwing it at me, and if you throwing it at me, best believe I'm gonna catch it. That's most dudes. I'm telling you, women have nothing to fear when it comes to shooting shots. But they still terrified because they afraid that they can shoot 99% from the field, and women are afraid of that 1%. And which what we were talking about before, men and women are not equal. As men, we have to be able to build up that resiliency to get rejected and to keep pushing. Women, if you reject a woman's sexual advances, if you reject a woman's she says you're attractive, she's trying to get your number and all that stuff like that, that will crush their ego because they lie to themselves and they have this weird mental thing in which they have to tell themselves like they're the most beautiful in the world. And the issue with that mindset is when you build yourself up as I'm the baddest, I'm the most beautiful in the world, when there's something that is contrary to your view of reality, you become defensive against it because it literally is on the brink of destroying your view of reality because you have held yourself in such high self-esteem and you have such a high ego and image of yourself that if you see something that contradicts what you built up in your mind, it can make some girls very, 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 very upset to have to try to deal with that unfortunate truth. So it's one of those things in which we also say like men and women are not equal. Women literally, a girl doesn't have to do anything. A thing. A girl can have 600 Instagram followers. She got blue checks in her DMs. You have 600 Instagram followers. Yeah, you comment on girl stories. They're not even replying back. They liking it. They leaving you on scene. It's a difference. It's a difference in society. It's a difference in dating. We're not equal. It's definitely in women's favor. However, there's things in which men have ability to that kind of offsets the advantage that women have. But that's mostly working on yourself, improving yourself, getting your money up, getting your social circle together, getting your status up to the point where more women just naturally want to come and gravitate towards you. And also for you to be in the spot in which a lot of these women are. Because a lot of the times, guys, I'm going to be real with you right now, I'm going to put it on game. You can bag pretty much any woman if you in the vicinity. And let me break that down real quick. What I mean is, if you are in the space and you share the space with them, you have a very, very, very exponentially higher probability of bagging them than to say if you were to just bag them over a dating app or bag them over like one night at the club. Like think about it. Or even in the club, there's been times in which I have been in a section with other women. And because we are all together in this area right now, it's kind of closed off, it's kind of private. We're basically in a smaller social circle than being in the entire population of the club. I am now already more privy to talk to them, to have access to them, to be able to charm them, to be able to seduce them, et cetera, to win them over just off the fact that we're in the same section right now. And they're definitely more open to talking to you and getting to know you than to if they were just in the club as a group of girls, you were in a club as a group of guys, you would have tried to come up to them. That dynamic is completely different. If you can get to these parties, if you can get to these rooms, if you can get to these, these social circles, a lot of the time, women will just date you. A lot of women date within their social circle. They date their friends. They date the friends of the friends. And so if you can be friends with them or if you can find your way into these social circles, half the job has already been done. And you can kind of, you're at a way higher advantage than just the random dudes that's trying to spit game and holler and try to win them over. I promise you. You could not even be this girl's ideal type, but if you in her social circle, you can bag. We've seen it so many times. We see it. If you ever seen a guy and a girl and you're like, well, wait, how did he bag her? I promise you, 100%, they was in a social circle together. And then he had the opportunity, and then she's probably a girl that is more likely to be with guys that she's more comfortable with. And girls are more comfortable with people that's in their social circle, that's kind of vetted, that they can kind of trust, et cetera, et cetera. But yeah, so that's pretty much it. It's a tough game out here for a lot of dudes out here. Women have way more options. Like the most average woman, I'm telling you, like 5 and a 6 is probably getting as much attention from dating apps, from social media, from being out in the club, as a 5 and a 6 girl is getting way more attention than a 5 and a 6 as a guy, exponentially so, to the point where it's kind of nuts. Like even a guy is what you would call a 10. If a 6 is throwing it at him, he's probably gonna hit, unless he has self-control, unless he has standards. If a 6 is throwing it and making it super, super easy, I'm talking about throwing it like he just told her to come over at 2 in the morning. She said, okay, she's in. That's not happening with a guy that's a 6. He's not. There's not gonna be a woman that's quote unquote a 10 that's gonna just hit up a guy that's a 6 at 2 in the morning and just tell her to come through. That just doesn't happen. But yeah, maybe I'll do a part 2 to this video or to this reaction, because you know we're gonna need some more of that sweet, fresh and fit clout. But I'm hoping that I was able to drop some perspective, maybe give some insight in this video. But yeah, that's about it. I'm not trying to get copyright strike. I don't want people complaining about watching too much of the video. That was about 5 minutes of footage right there. So maybe we'll do a part 2 if you guys like it. But yeah, without further ado, this is Dat Poppy. I'm signing out.